Kakadosh Boker Tov, Shavua Tov. We were continuing with the halachot of the dreams and the different negative dreams. So it says over here as follows: if somebody sees in his dream Yom Kippur, so therefore they are showing him that he needs an atonement, and that's why they're showing him Yom Kippur in his dream. Some people say that that's only going to be the day of Yom Kippur, not the night of Yom Kippur, but other people say there's no difference. Some people say that it has to be Davka specifically where he's fasting on Yom Kippur, but if he's not fasting, so then it's okay. But again, the entire concept of the Yom Kippur is that the person needs an atonement, and therefore since he needs an atonement, that's why they're showing him Yom Kippur in his dream. The same halakha would apply if it's going to be of the atonement, is if he sees in a dream that he's getting married. Why? Because we know that when a person comes and they get married, they forgive him, right, for all his sins. And therefore, if a person comes and he sees a marriage taking place in his dream, right, that he's getting married, so therefore he needs an atonement. Now he doesn't bring down here if he actually sees who's the wife or not, but that doesn't matter. The concept of who's going to be the new bride, the concept of seeing a marriage in itself, that's already the fact that he needs an atonement.
That would be another atonement.
That might be another one, or he might actually be happy. Depends what's the case. But whatever, we're not going to get into that, right? Not here. That'll be for Shalom Bayit classes afterwards. But whichever the case is, the second that he sees a marriage taking place, so therefore he's going to need an atonement. Now, if a person comes and he sees that the beams, the main beams of his house, they fall, or his teeth fall out. So, and here there's no difference whether it's going to be the teeth of the front or the back, right? They're going to fall out. Also, to do with the house, we're talking about the beams of the main beams of the house, not the beams of a side room, right? Or other things like that. So then they would also have to fast. And the reason why is because if right now a person sees that the main beams, the main pieces of wood that are supporting his roof, that are supporting his house are going to fall, it means that his entire house is going to collapse. So therefore, ki'ilu it's chatz shalom, he's going to be taken from this world, and therefore he needs to fast in order to actually, we're going to say to uphold, right, that to withstand that the house should stay standing up. The same thing to do with the teeth, because the teeth is that ki'ilu they're showing a person that he doesn't need to eat anymore. But they're taking out his teeth, so now his teeth are falling out. So therefore, if right now, right, he doesn't need to eat, why doesn't he need to eat? Because obviously that means that they want to take him away. So therefore, they would have to fast in order to come and to show that obviously he wants that there should be an atonement for him. Now he says this is only if it's going to be the teeth. But if it's going to be that the cheeks are falling out, he says the opposite. It's actually going to be a very good thing, because that means that the people that are advising negative things against him, they passed away. So therefore, right, it's always also going to be good. Some people also add in to do with this halakha of if a person comes and he's going to be reading the Torah, but there's not, for example, let's say he's not learning Torah properly, right? So they come and they show him in a dream that he's not learning Torah properly. So he comes and he says, so therefore obviously that's going to be a bad dream, because, or he's coming up to the teva. So he says, because what happens is they're showing him that they're coming to judge him. And therefore if he's coming and he's not learning properly, so therefore obviously he's going to need an atonement for that. And some people say also that he's got the sins. I mean, Hashemayim, they want to punish him, so therefore he has to learn Torah in order that the Torah should annul from those punishments. So that's also going to be very, very important. However, though, if they call him up to the Torah now, and now he's going to read from the Torah, so therefore it's actually going to be a siman yafeh. Some people say it's actually a good sign, but that means he's going up to greatness, because they call him up to the Torah, he's reading from the Torah. But other people say no, that it's also considered a negative dream in itself, right? So he says, but some people say if he says that he calls up to the Torah, but somebody else read for him, so he doesn't have to fast. Now again, in all these halachot, right, he says if the person is very, very upset, right, that means he saw a dream, and again he gets all disturbed because of the dream, but he cannot come and he doesn't pay attention to it. He says if he's going to eat on Shabbat, lo yitaneg machilato, right? So at least even if he is going to come and start eating on Shabbat, don't start, being mitaneg b'achilato. Ve'adrabah rotzeh litano mechamat tzar. So now, if right now he's going to come and he actually feels that he needs to fast. Let's say even there's a machloket that was brought down here in a few different opinions. So it's a machloket. So now he comes and he says, you know what, he's going to eat, but even if he eats, he's not going to really benefit from it. Why? Because he really wants to fast. So then he's allowed to fast on the Shabbat. And again, as we already mentioned before, if he does fast on Shabbat, he would have to fast another day in order to make up for the fasting on the Shabbat, because again, technically you're not allowed to fast on Shabbat. But here, since the person needs an atonement, so therefore he's going to be permitted to fast on the Shabbat. This is again a very short version of the list of dreams. There are books nowadays, full books, based upon the Gemarot, whether it is in Berachot and other Gemarot as well, where it speaks about all the different dreams, whether it's talking about with animals, whether it's talking about with human beings, whether it's talking about with deceased people. In every single case, it's just important just to understand, so therefore we know exactly what's a good dream and what's a not a good dream in order to know how to annul it or how to get rid of it.